Namaste, dear one. Hope you start your day with energy and positive attitude. This is the best way to behave for your good health and your good mind and live your true life. I think it's good today to talk about the stress that comes back very easily lately. We must recognize it and welcome it to find our solution thanks to Ayurveda and yoga. I will start first to define what is stress and at the end tell what are the solutions for relieving it. So, what is stress and what does it mean in Ayurveda? Stress is one of those words that is overused and we actually lose its real meaning. Stress is also commonly referred to as anxiety, tension, or even angst. The events, the situation which produce stress are not bad things, as one might think from certain cliché. Stress is a necessary function of our psyche and organism that allows us to cope with different situations, both positive and negative. Stresses involve changes in your environment that your central nervous system has to adapt to during daily life. Stressors include positive or negative life events like death, divorce, new job, new house, baby, etc., etc., that force you to adapt to these changes. Stress occurs when the pressures, challenges, or demands of life overwhelm your ability to adapt. Stress can manifest itself in physical, emotional, or behavioral symptoms. It can come from any situation or thought that make you frustrated, angry, or anxious. What is stressful for you is not necessarily stressful for another. Stress in everyday life is not necessarily a bad thing. However, uncontrolled or negative stress can be a bad thing that can have many consequences on your health. A little stress can motivate you to do your job. For example, it can make you more aware in a situation that needs serious attention. Stress can also be used as a safety mechanism to save one's life. It's a defense mechanism rooted in your reptilian brain, and the first men on Earth saved themselves from danger by this message from the reptilian system. However, too much stress or a strong stress reaction is emotionally and physically damaging. This can expose you to a deterioration in your general health as well as to specific physical and or psychological illnesses such as infections, chronic diseases, heart disease or depression. Persistent and relentless stress often leads to anxiety and unhealthy behaviors like overeating and abusing alcohol or drugs, for example. A weak emotional state or poor health can also cause stress. So, what are the physical and emotional symptoms? It works both ways. Stress and anxiety, which is stress for no apparent reason, chronic stress, is often accompanied by physical symptoms like muscle tension, headaches, sweating, dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, abdominal pain, which may be the symptom of stress, especially in the child, exhaustion, diarrhea, lack of concentration, sleep problems, irregular heartbeat, irritability, or anger. Almost all of these symptoms seem to indicate a marked increase or imbalance in the Vata dosha. However, all three dosha can play a role in stress. Generally, if you have Vata, you are likely to develop stress reactions aggravated by Vata, such as fear, even phobias, or anxiety neurosis. If you are Pitta, you increase your Pitta in stressful situations and you generally react to stress with anger. You may also suffer from hypertension, peptic ulcer disease, ulcerative colitis, and other Pitta disorders eventually. If you are kapha and stressed, you can develop various disorders such as underactive thyroid function, slow metabolism, and even increased blood sugar, which lead to a pre-diabetic state. And then you tend to eat more. From a physical point of view, the human body responds to stressor by activating the nervous system and specific hormones on the endocrine system. These hormones increase heart rate, respiration, blood pressure, and metabolism. The blood arteries then open further to allow blood to flow into the muscle. This puts your muscle on alert. Your pupils dilate to improve your vision. Your liver releases some of its stored glucose to increase the amount of energy available. And sweat is produced to cool the body. All of these physical changes prepare you to react quickly and effectively to the pressure of the moment. Cortisol also reduces function that would be non essential or harmful in a fight or flight situation. It impairs your immune responses and slows down your digestive system, reproductive system, and growth processes. It is said in the Sushruta Samhita that a person having a uniformly healthy digestion, whose bodily humors are in a state of equilibrium, and in whom the basic vital fluids circulate in their normal state and quantity, accompanied by the normal processes of secretion and organic function, is considered a healthy person. When your body is working properly, your stress response processes improve your ability to act well under pressure. But the stress response can also cause problems when it is excessive or when it does not shut down and reset properly. So, what are the approaches of Ayurveda, the problems, and the illness? Now, let's focus on some of the main symptoms, problems, and illnesses that stress can cause and see what Ayurveda's approach is to this. One of the main problems that can arise is depression. It goes without saying that depression is a very big problem in our society. It affects most of us at one point or another in our lives to a greater or lesser degree. But when it begins to last or affect the ability to act and interact in normal situation of life, it becomes a disease that must be treated. Depression is more emotional than physical and is a very stress responsive symptom. As Dr. David Frawley states, depression, especially accompanied by adrenal fatigue, follows stress, overwork, and trauma. It is usually a sign of low OJAS, so OJAS is the immune function. Depression is kapha disorder, the most common. So if you are kapha, you can often suffer from low energy, slower metabolism, weight gain, and over attachment. These characteristics can lead to depression. If you are vata, you can easily be affected by stress and depression. You are more sensitive to it because it hurts more easily. Vata type depression is associated with feelings of abandonment, lack of love, and care in life. It can become serious and even suicidal. Sorry. The pitta depression is largely due to a failure setback. Some of the general Ayurvedic methods of treatment depression are an uplifting, light, and well spiced diet of mind opening herbs such as ginger and basil. And the Ayurvedic and yogic solution for your stress. So, if you suffer from depression, I encourage you to follow these tips. Expose yourself to positive sights and sounds, such as those on a nature walk. You can use also aroma inhalation, inhale stimulating and positive aroma, such as those of camphor or tangerine, are really good. Physical exercises. So, do physical exercises on pranayama, which are recommended to renew your vital energy, that we call prana. Then, as with any good Ayurvedic treatment, you have to maintain a good apanavayu. This is the downward movement with transit regular like the triphala herb. Muscle tension is another important symptom of stress. In the Ashtanga Hridayam, it is said that When vata enters in the arteries and nerves present on the side of the neck, it causes their stiffness, and this then spreads to whole part of the body. First contracting the shoulders, then bending the body forward like a bow. This produces convulsion, loss of hive movement, yawning, grinding of the teeth, vomiting of kapha like mucus, pain in the flank, incapacitation to speak, loss of movement of the lower jaw, back and head. This is called anariyama. This is obviously an extreme example of symptoms related to muscle tension. However, many people experience several of these symptoms on a regular basis. Headache and stiff neck seem to be everywhere. Ayurveda seeks as always to balance your dosha through diet, lifestyle, and mindset. Use of herbs and a good diet is really useful. In this specific case, we also prescribe both sedatives and nerve tonics such as ashwagandha and jatamansi, and painkillers such as feverview. You probably also need to address issues related to your lifestyle. What makes you so tense and stressed is your job, your couple, your lack of rest, etc. You can use sensory therapies like massage, shirodara, and aromatherapy, which are also very helpful. Chronic fatigue is another common phenomenon that can be caused by stress. Fatigue is physical and mental stress. Chronic fatigue is also called shrama, and it is a condition of increased vata. You will need an anti-vata, toning and fortifying diet. Sensory therapies such as Abhyanga massage practiced daily will take away your fatigue and stress from work and life in general. Rosemary bath taken in the morning are also recommended. If you are pitta and stressed, you may suffer from ulcerative colitis. It is actually a pitta vata like condition in that it is a chronic inflammatory disease causing ulceration. The cause or etiology of this disease is a disharmonious lifestyle and dietary imbalances. Emotionally, this condition manifests if you are prone to worry, anxiety combined with anger. The pathology of this disease is that pitta has moved from the small intestine to the colon, and vata has moved from the large intestine to the small intestine. This combination of heat and dryness causes ulcers on the walls of your mucous membranes. The dosha also move in the mind. This causes anger and anxiety. A thawing diet of both vata and pitta is then recommended. Nutmeg and licorice are therefore recommended to promote absorption and reduce your vata and pitta. Stress can also cause your sleep problem. In this case, it is usually a vata disturbance. Moreover, we notice that sleep disorders are often accompanied by fear, worry, and anxiety. Sleep issues, particularly with respect to the vata, type we are discussing here require most, if not all, sensory therapy. It is important to make changes in your lifestyle, but you have to go little by little so as not to add additional stress linked to this change. What can cause problem may be a tyrannical boss or an extremely chaotic or noisy workplace, too much coffee or caffeinated drinks or too much screens like TV, smartphone, computer before going to bed. A long and difficult trip can also be very disturbing. And example, long trip with multiple changing, etc., etc. So what about sleep disorder due to stress? Some simple things can help you with sleep disorders, staying calm in the evening after dark before going to sleep, getting up with the sun, having a regular routine, not watching TV at night, best being not to have one. Read a spiritual book to calm your nerves and awaken your awareness, and meditate before bed or even twice a day if possible. Meditation works on all levels physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. It is also affecting your three physical, astral, and causal bodies. From a practical physical perspective, meditation balances your autonomic nervous system, which regulates the functioning of many of your organs and muscles, as well as your heart rate, sweating, breathing, and digestion. Physical exercises, preferably a regular practice of restorative hatha yoga, can also help you. Also, taking a hot bath before going to bed is relaxing, especially if you had a little essential oil of jatamamsi, nard of the Himalaya, or lavender. An antivata diet is advised also. Boiled milk builds ojas, so the immune system promotes sleep. Boiled it's reduce vayu and kapha. Massage your feet with sesame oil before going to sleep. So, how to decrease also your anger due to the stress? Anger is another problem that stress can cause, especially in Pitta people. Anger and hostility are signs of aggravation of Pitta in the nervous system. Pitta is necessary for good understanding and discernment, but when disturbed or out of balance, it creates misunderstanding and poor judgment, resulting in anger and hostility. The goal is to return Pitta to his normal constitutional function. Most people in our modern Western society create tremendous stress on themselves in order they believe to be able to keep up with others and even compare themselves to others in order to judge themselves. We even create a kind of false desires for what others have. It can really create a lot of stress and anger. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, ruminating or sensory objects causes attachment to them. Attachment breeds desire, desire breeds anger, anger breeds disillusion, disillusion breeds loss of memories. Lost right memories cause degeneration of the ability to discriminate. From degeneration of discrimination follows annihilation of the spiritual life. This is a disorder that can obviously run very deep, but from an Ayurvedic perspective, we can consider it a primary pitta imbalance. In order to overcome this stress induced hunger, an anti pitta diet is advised, in which pungent spices and aromatics, citrus fruit, and acidic foods are prohibited, as are alcohol and caffeinated beverages. You can make this anti pitta drink at home. In one glass of grape juice, add 1 teaspoon of cumin, one of fennel, and one of powdered sandalwood. These drinks helps to calm your feelings of hunger and other pitta symptoms such as heartburn. If you are pitta in a hot climate, you should try to stay as cool as possible. The heat can really stress you out. You can practice a lunar pranayama, breathing through the left nostril only. It is even strongly recommended, just like Shitali or Sitkari also. You should avoid physical activities that make you sweat a lot, example jogging at lunchtime or yoga in a heated room. And of course, meditation is again very useful. And if you are prone to stress and anger issues, you can benefit immensely from disconnecting the ahamkara, so the ego. So, what about heart disease and stress? Heart disease is another area where stress is known to be a cause or a causative factor. In Ayurveda and also according to Eastern medicine in general, the heart and not the brain is the seat of consciousness. Dr. Frolle explained that what you feel in your heart is who you really are, unlike the fleeting thoughts you have in your head. He goes on to say that heart disease reflects deeply rooted questions of identity, feeling, and consciousness. Considering this reasoning, it easily to see why emotions and stress like overeating, not eating the right foods, lack of exercise, etc. can cause heart problem. Allopathic medicine as well as Ayurvedic medicine consider that high stress can be a causative factor in heart disease. The prevalence and incidence of angina increase with perceived stress. It is noted that in the hospital, high stress is associated with a higher rate of admission related to cardiovascular diseases. Studies also conducted in the United States reveal that stress plays a definite role in triggering or worsening depression and cardiovascular disease. Ayurvedic treatment emphasizes a prolonged period of rest. A spiritual retreat and natural setting can work wonders, especially if you have been a stressed city dweller for a while. Meditation and pranayama are great for calming your mind and your emotions. Certain herbs are greatly helpful depending on the individual's particular problem and your constitution. However, the Arjuna Tridoshik generally serves as the basis of our Ayurveda formula for the heart. Then, constitutionally correct plants are added. Stress can play a huge role in your life. As we have seen, it contributes to the outbreak of diseases. It can cause benign things like mild sleep disturbances and life threatening heart disease. As you can see, Ayurvedic medicine can play a major role in elevating or even eliminating this kind of problems. Ayurveda offers different methods of care against stress. So, with a diet adapted to your person, what do you ingest 3 times a day every day? Is this correct for you? How is the elimination, the transit going? The hapana must be moved daily so that the toxin do not accumulate and overflow in the rasa and rakta dhatus and spread to other weakened part of your body. This can be easily treated with herbal formula such as triphala, psyllium, flaxseed, etc. With the appropriate herbal medicine, sedatives and nerve tonics such as ashwagandha and jatamamsi are helpful. With meditation, it is actually more a way of life than a treatment, but it can be used as such in the beginning if you are new to Ayurveda and yoga. To disconnect from the ego, to detach from the senses, to realize that one is not only this body, but that one is part of the whole and that behind all the drama of light, everything is fine. With the five sensory therapy, very beneficial in the relief of stress and anxiety. Of course, depending on your constitution, the treatment vary to some extent. However, getting out into nature and seeing the trees and the sunlight is good for everyone. Use a little aromatherapy in a warm bath or a diffuser will soothe you. Pay attention to the environment you live in. Is it tidy or cluttered? Are the colors of your house as well as those your color of your clothes are the right one for you? Is your environment too noisy? All of these issues have to be settled at some point. Of course, step by step, so as not to be overwhelmed and stress you even more. With the right tap and amount of physical exercise according to your constitution and level of health, by monitoring your reflection and your introspection and lots of rest, all of these measures can and will make a difference in the fight against your stress. Then, till now, which techniques you use to manage and decrease your stress? Are you undergoing it or are you acting for the future of your health? Tell me in comments what you are going through and which difficulties you face with stress. In my YouTube channel, you will find other pranayama to practice and other resources to release your stress. Subscribe to get the update and help yourself by learning healing ancestral methods with Ayurveda and yoga. Thank you for your listening, and I wish you a very, very nice and good day. Be nice, be kind, and compassionate. Love yourself and take care. Bye bye.